Hey, welcome to Premier Present Show. This is Ryan Giffen here at Premier Speakers Bureau. Not very many people can say that they have a day named after them. I'm joined by the sole owner of the Doc Hendley Day, named by NC State University, which is your alumni. Is that right, Doc?
That's correct. I graduated in 2004 from North Carolina State University. Yeah, that's
There you
right.
go. So, all you North Carolina fans out there, you can definitely relate to Doc. So, Doc has a lot of other accolades and notches on his belt for the things that he's done. Primarily, Doc is the founder and president of Wine to Water, which is, I will let Doc, you handle that. Tell us a little bit at Wine to Water.
I started the organization actually in my senior year. It was late 2003. I had about a semester left of school, and I kind of got to that point where a lot of students get, where it's like, what am I going to do with myself, you know? And I was bartending my way through school and playing some music out of different nightclubs and bars around town. It was around that same time that I had learned about the world's water crisis. And so I just decided, you know what, I wonder if I can use the tools and the resources that I have around me at these restaurants and bars to make a difference with this water crisis. And so the end of 2003 is when the whole idea and the concept kind of came to me for Wine to Water, for the organization. And we held our very first event my last semester of school. And it kind of took off without me really anticipating it. And then 6 months after my very first event, which was actually the day I received my diploma in the mail, as I was on a plane to Darfur, Sudan. I lived in Darfur throughout 2004 and 2005. So.
What were those experiences like, living in Darfur and kind of having to embrace the challenges of the worlds over there?
It was tough. It was a difficult transition for me. I had traveled some before, but never to a developing country. And this was about as opposite a place on earth that you can get from a guy. My family is somewhat a conservative, somewhat southern, family from a temperate climate here in the U.S. And then I'm transplanted to a tribal African Muslim community in sub-Saharan Africa. So there wasn't probably a more opposite place on earth that you could get for me. But I was so shocked at how quickly I would just fall in love with the people and the culture and the folks that I was there to save and try to help with clean water. It was so shocking to me how I didn't begin to focus on our differences that we had, but the things that bonded us together, the commonality of being human beings and struggling to survive, so it was a life-changing experience for me, to say the least, there in Darfur. There were some difficult times as well. I nearly lost my life a couple times because of the conflict, but I'm here. I didn't lose my life. I'm still alive. So
Still here. Doc is alive. Young people are always looking up to people who have done great things in their lives, coming from situations where they really had no goals or no plan with their life, but they look to these people who have done great things from almost nothing, and try to fit themselves into your situation to say, how can I take what I am right now and go to something great? What would you say to someone like that to give them guidance in those times?
Man, that's a great question. I was one of those people growing up where I never felt like I measured up in every aspect of my life. In athletics, my brother plays professional basketball over in Europe right now. He's 6'9", for goodness sake, so he's an amazing ball player. My granddaddy played professional football for the Pittsburgh Steelers. My cousin right now, who I grew up with, playing on the PGA Tour and golf. I was never great at sports. In fact, I rode the bench most of my life. And so I never measured up in that level. Even with athletics, I love school. I love learning, but I wasn't the best student as far as sitting down. And I did get a degree and everything, but I wasn't on the dean's list. I wasn't that top 1%. So I never measured up, I felt like, even with school. So in all these aspects of my life growing up, I just felt like I didn't have the ability to do anything exceptional because I saw all the people around me accomplishing these exceptional things, making the dean's list. Friends, one of my best friends is valedictorian of our school. My family are amazing athletes, and I could never do anything. But the difference was that when I learned about the water crisis, and I decided, you know what, I don't care what I've accomplished or haven't accomplished in my past. I am going to do whatever I can to fight this thing that I've become so passionate about. And so I shut off that voice in my head that said, you're not good enough. And I just began to take steps. I began to host events, began to do things without really knowing where it would lead, without knowing that we would have this international nonprofit one day, just taking one step at a time. And I feel like if people who are like me, who don't really feel like they have the ability to accomplish great things or whatever, all it takes is just, you know what, don't think about it. Just find something you're passionate about and start moving. Start taking steps towards that direction. And I think we'd surprise ourselves at what we could accomplish if we find something that we truly are passionate about and we go after it with everything that we got.
Doc, you're a very humble person, and I know you probably wouldn't think of yourself as a leading entrepreneur or an expert in leadership, but your story exemplifies what entrepreneurship is and leadership is. What are some things that you can share about your experiences thus far in growing basically what is a very successful nonprofit business? What are some things that you can share with those folks out there wanting to start their own businesses? Yeah,
that's a great question. One of the things I'm learning is that you can never do enough learning. No matter what I've accomplished before in the past up until now in helping grow this organization, I'm always set on what more can I learn to become a better leader? So there's some aspects that I feel like are really important to leadership, that are extremely important, that maybe have come a little bit easy to me in the sense that I feel like a good leader, first and foremost, realizes that they can do nothing without the people around them that they've surrounded themselves with. So the people in my office, the people that we work with in the field, they are brilliant. They have their amazing own gifts. And I think that one of the reasons why I think that for me it wasn't ever difficult to rely on them is because I had a little bit of that inside of me that I can't do this on my own. I need help. And I think a lot of times good leadership starts with realizing that we can't do it all. You need to rely on people that are around you. And there's a lot of areas, though, where I struggle, that I need to get better, that I am constantly trying to get better on with different management skills and learning what it means to put together a successful team and grow, even though we're a nonprofit, almost looking at it business minded, how can we be sustainable and continue to last throughout economic hardships and things like that. I have a lot to learn when it comes to business leadership on that level. But I think the most important thing to get started is to realize that the people that you surround yourself with are what is going to make not just you, but the thing that you're going after a success or a failure. It's that simple, it's that important.
Obviously, we're trying to look through the lens of a university audience and college students out there. What's the one thing you want these college students to take away with when you go and speak to them, share your story, and inspire them to do great things? What's the one thing that you want them to walk away with?
Well, there's always a couple things I shoot for. One, it's always, a lot of people don't know about the world's water crisis, so it's always really important to me to do a little bit and talk about how extremely passionate I am about this and why I'm so passionate about fighting the world's water crisis. But even bigger than that, I feel like, is that I want people to walk away from this thinking, and not even just thinking, believing that no matter who they are or what they've accomplished in the past, they have the ability to do amazing and extraordinary things with their life if they can find something that they're passionate about and go with it with everything they got to go after that.
I can't see a better fit for someone to come in and motivate a group of students or teachers or whatever it may be. Doc speaks to all different types of groups throughout the country and world and has been doing some amazing things. So, Doc, thank you so much for your time. You have a little fun scenery behind you. I hear that Boone got their first Starbucks.
Yeah, but I'm pretty stoked. I get to obviously have good coffee all around when I'm traveling. It's even like in the field we have great coffee, but in the little small mountain town in Boone, North Carolina, we haven't even had a Starbucks until like the last like, I guess 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm kind of excited to be drinking a good cup of Joe while I'm talking to you.
It's the small things in life that make it enjoyable.
That's right.
Doc, thanks so much for your time today. For everyone out there, please take a look at this video, or the video below as well, that talks about the Wine to Water organization and what Doc can do to bring in a strong message to your campus, or to your students. So again, thanks for your time, Doc, and we look forward to many successful events in the future.
Thank you so much, Ron. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Right on.